What's up guys? On today's video, I'm gonna show you how to start a blog so you can use it to change your life and start doing the things that you thought were impossible. Boom! My name's Joel Runyon and I started my blog Impossible back 10 years ago after getting laid off from UPS. I was sitting in my parents' basement and everything in my life seemed impossible until I discovered two things: endurance challenges and blogging. Since then, I've used blogging to help change my life in all aspects. From running an indoor triathlon to being able to run an ultramarathon on every continent in the world, and using blogging to get my first job. I eventually used it to help consult with Fortune 500 companies and venture-backed startups. None of this would have been possible if I had not started my blog. I know that sounds crazy, but in today's video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to set up your own blog so you can see for yourself. Now let's go. Before we get started, there's two things you need to know about. The first is domains, and the second is hosting. In the world of real estate, domain names are basically your house address, and hosting is the lot on which you're building the house. Those are the two things that you're gonna need to get in order to start your blog today. So first, let's talk about finding a blog name and matching domain name. I'm gonna show you the exact workflows and tools that I use to come up with names and find out if the domain names are available. Let's get started. All right, so there are a couple main tools that I use to research and find names. Now you can do a couple different things when you're finding a name. You can talk about topics you're interested in. You can do an exact keyword thing, which is like paleo recipes if you're gonna write about paleo recipes. You can talk about a lot of different types of things. You can use yourname.com, or you can just pick a word that means a lot to you, and that's what I did with Impossible. And once you have those, you can start playing with these tools and finding out what names are available. The first one I use is called a lean domain search. This is a tool built by Wordpress that you can use to find different names related to things. So if I wanted to write about something impossible, I'd quickly type that in, and lean domain search will show me a few different names that I could use around the word impossible that are all available. I can specify if I want to sort it by popularity, length, alphabetical, or do anything else. If I didn't want to do that and I wanted to do something along the lines of Joel, I could also find what domain names are available in .com right now that have to do with Joel. And you can see stuff like Pro Joel, Joel Blog, Tech Joel, Joel Guide. I could use all of those if I wanted to. Now, if you have a specific topic and you want to blog about fitness, you can use this to find other brands or names that might work for fitness. Pentagon Fitness, Robinhood Fitness, Amadeus Fitness. Robinhood Fitness is kind of interesting. But you can use any of these to put together ideas for brands or names that you want to use. The other tool I use is called Bust a Name, and this is an old school looking site. It still says it's in beta, but it's been in beta, I guess, for a while. But you can use this to combine different words and find out what type of domains you want. So say you're interested in fitness, then you're interested in recipes, then you're interested in Austin, because you're interested in Austin, Texas. And we'll just throw Texas in there. So you can have something like recipes Austin, Austin recipes. You could throw groups in here. So you can group them by like topics and places. You can add things here like I want to see more extensions, so .net, .org, or you can combine even more words. And what this will do is this auto combines everything to show you exactly what's available and what's not. You can actually add these to save for later and review them as you go. So those are two tools I use. Lean domain search is being actively developed and is getting better and better. But if you want to just get an idea and start coming up with a bunch of crazy names, Bust a Name actually works pretty well, and I like it quite a bit. So check out both of those and find the right domain name for your site. So now that you have your domain name, don't buy it yet, but let's get you started with hosting and I'll show you how to get a domain name for free. So like I said before, hosting is like the plot of land or the location that you're building your house on. You want a place that's safe and can store all of your files, and you don't want to move it a bunch. There's a ton of different hosting providers out there and you can use and research any of them. But the way I got started was with Bluehost, and we've worked out a special deal for Impossible readers to get started blogging for $2.95 a month. That's less than a half a cup of coffee. And if you're serious about blogging, it's the smartest and cheapest investment you can make. It's over 50% off their typical pricing, and you get a domain name for free. So if you guys want to grab that deal, it's in the description below. So now I'm going to show you how to set up your Bluehost account, claim your free domain name, and install your WordPress blog today. Let's go. All right, guys, so if you're on Bluehost right now, you can see it starts at $2.95 a month. That's typically $7 or $8. But if you click here, you can just click Learn More, and you're gonna see it's $2.95 a month. That's the deal we've got for you with a free domain name, and it usually starts at $8. So you can grab the most basic one. Again, that's $2.95. Hit select, and you'll be prompted to put in your domain name. Now, if you did all the research in the last step, you're gonna have your domain name. So I'm just gonna use a new one that I'm making up, which is impossibleexample.com. As you can see, it's available. And then I'm gonna go ahead and fill out this information. I'm gonna skim right through this for you guys, but all the information is right here. So go ahead and do that right now. A quick note on all these extras, you can always add them, but you don't really need them to start off with. So I would uncheck most of these. Now that I've entered all my payment information in, I can go ahead and click submit. All right, so once you put in your payment information, you can again select the $2.95 a month plan. So once you've signed up, you're gonna see your purchase was a success. You get a confirmation to your email, and you go ahead and create your account. Here you have my domain name. Then I'm gonna go ahead and create a password. You gotta make sure they match. You click accept, and you go ahead and create. Now you're ready to go. Go ahead and log in. I'm gonna type in the exact same login information I just created and log into my Bluehost. So once you get into Bluehost, they're gonna ask you a bunch of questions. You can go ahead and fill these out, but if you're watching this tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to do a bunch of this stuff quicker. So you can go ahead and skip this step if you want. You can skip step 2, 3. So once you get to this step, you can pick a free or premium theme. Again, you can choose a free one, you can pick a paid one, and I'm gonna show you later on exactly how to install one on your WordPress blog on your own. But to get started, you can go ahead and just pick one that you think looks nice. You can use this theme, and Bluehost will get to work installing WordPress for you. So once you're in this screen, you're gonna go ahead and get started. You don't need domain privacy to start. You can just go ahead and turn that off. Once you're in here, they're gonna give you a checklist of things that they want you to do. And you can see your sites in the left-hand sidebar here. Once I see Impossible Example, I'm gonna go ahead and click Manage Site. And then I'm gonna click Login. And this is gonna log me into my WordPress site. And there we go. You are officially inside your WordPress blog setup. All right, so now that you have your Bluehost account, I'm gonna show you how to set up your first WordPress blog. Now there's a lot of different tools and software you can use, but WordPress is the simplest and easiest one that I know of. I use WordPress, most of my friends that blog use WordPress, and it powers over 30% of the sites on the internet. So let's get started and install your WordPress blog right now. All right, so once I am in my WordPress install, I can go ahead and start customizing it. Now, the number one place you're gonna start customizing things are themes. Now, you can get all sorts of different types of themes. And as we did in the onboarding process, I installed this one. Now, when I install things for myself, I always use the Genesis framework. This is the framework, which is sort of like a theme, but it's more of like the bones of your website. It's what everything else is built around. And I really like Genesis because it's simple, it's easy to use, and it's really SEO friendly. As you can see, I've already uploaded this to my website, so I'm gonna go ahead and just click Activate, and it's gonna activate it right here. Now, since I'm using Genesis, it's gonna ask me to upload a child theme, and a child theme is sort of like the coat of paint around Genesis. This allows you to make a bunch of visual changes without changing the underlying structure. Now, you don't have to do this. A lot of people use normal basic themes, but this is the way that I've built sites that actually generate revenue, that I can rely on and are actually SEO friendly. So if you're going to do this, you want to make sure you have a well-coded theme that's structurally sound, and Genesis is the best way to go ahead and do that. So I have a child theme I'm going to upload right about now. All right, so I'm going to upload the child theme right here, install, and there we go. Whether this is Genesis or another theme, it's that easy to go ahead and install a child theme. So once I have my theme set up, I can go ahead and start customizing my site. I think most sites need to have a few different pages. One of them is an about page. On almost any site you visit on the internet, no matter where it is, every site has an about page. And it's often, besides the home page, the second most visited page on the entire site. So I'm going to go ahead and just say about, this is a little bit about me. And go ahead and just save draft, and then I'll click publish. And when I hit publish, voila, there we go. We have our first page. When it comes to writing an actual blog post, like I said, you can go to posts and just click add new. Once you're here, you can say things like my new blog post, I'm excited, as the title. You can write whatever you like here. You can write paragraphs, you can write poetry, you can write your impossible list, whatever concepts you like to write, you can. You can add content, you can add images, you can add page breaks, you can add quotes. WordPress makes it super easy for you to do all this inline right here. As you can see, I've set up my title, I've written some text, I've added an image, and even added a quote. And if I click update or publish, and you have to wait for a bit sometimes, click view post, and you go ahead and see your blog post on the site. You can change the image size, you can add more text, you do whatever you like. It's your site, it's your blog, it's your world, so go for it. But you're also going to come into your settings and actually name your blog. Right now it has the defaults that say welcome and just another WordPress site. And my site is anything but just another WordPress site. So I'm going to go ahead and update it to impossible example, the best blog example in the world. And right away you're going to see it update here, and it's going to update things across my entire site. One thing you have to do is to verify your domain name and who is record. So I got an email from Bluehost once I signed up. It says verify my email, and I've clicked in and gone ahead and verified it. Once that happens, I can click back to my sites, and now you can see my site is active. One last thing I'm going to update is I'm going to make this my new domain name. Save update. And now if you see my site, you can see that it is all set up and is showing up at impossibleexample.com. Now I've got a few things that I'm going to run through really quickly to customize and show you how to get your blog set up so it looks really nice. All right, so as you can see, I've skipped ahead a few steps, but I basically have a setup of a blog that you could have ready today. I've customized the sidebar to link to my Twitter. I have a first Hello World blog post. And then I've gone ahead and created a few different things. I've created an about, an impossible list, and a contact me. So if I click into about, this is an easy about page, an impossible list. It's a starter on an impossible list that sounds pretty cool to me. And then you go ahead and contact me at this. You can either use a form or an email. And if you have these three things, plus the standard blog, you are good to go. You can add and customize things as you like, but these are all the main things that you need to have as a blog. Now, a real quick mention on the difference as you go ahead and create these pages. There's a difference between pages and posts. You'll see them right here, pages and posts. Pages are static pages that are not going to be changed very often. You'll see this on the site, and this is what the About page, the Impossible list, and the Contact Me are. Now, posts are something that are updated much more frequently. You'll see posts are actually much more like blog posts, and if you create them, they'll be updated here on your main homepage or at a /blog subpage on your site. If you're going to be blogging, use posts regularly. If you're creating informational pages about where to contact you or other pages on your site that aren't going to be updated as often, use pages. Once you have all this set up, you're ready to customize your site with plugins. All right, so now that we've got themes taken care of, we can start talking about plugins. Now, plugins are some of the most useful and powerful things that you have in the WordPress ecosystem. And while you can change and customize your site a whole bunch, you don't want to add 1,000 plugins to your site because it's gonna slow it down and you might have security issues. But that said, here's some of my essential plugins that I use on every install I use, no matter the blog topic. The first plugin that I install on every single install that I do is called Yoast SEO. I've actually already installed it here. So I'm gonna go over here and just show you what to do. Yoast is actually super complex and it can do a lot of things for you, but I'm gonna keep it simple. Right now, I've basically just updated the SEO title to be Impossible Example, not that impossible after all. You can update SEO on content types, media, and all sorts of different things throughout your site. But if you do these basics, Yoast will take care of the rest. So I would start there. The second plugin that I would add is called Super Cache. You can see I found it here. I'm going to go ahead and activate it. And what this does is it caches your site. So if you get a lot of traffic or you have a lot of people come to your site, it can reduce the load by caching or saving parts of your site. This helps speed your site up and keep it super fast. And it's really lightweight and is a really easy one to get set up and get started. The third plugin that I would use is called Opt-in Monster. And you can actually see this on any WordPress install that you get through Bluehost. They have a partnership set up and you can actually get started for free with it. Opt-in Monster lets you capture emails and build an email subscriber database that you're going to be using later on. I'm going to talk about this in a moment, but this is super important if you're going to be taking blogging seriously and trying to actually build your site, build your brand, and maybe even build a business. This is the easiest way to get set up and start collecting subscribers on your site. So I would check out Opt-in Monster. I use it across a bunch of my sites. It's really easy and really simple to get started. All right, so there we go. Your blog is set up. You've bought your hosting. You've gotten your domain name. You've installed WordPress. You've installed your themes. And you've customized your site with plugins. You're ready to start blogging, but before you do, don't make this one mistake. The number one mistake that I see new bloggers make is that they don't start an email list. An email list is the best way to stay in touch with readers, fans, and potential customers. And take it from me, I didn't start an email list on my first site for 9 months. I lost out on thousands of subscribers because I didn't think it was important. Don't make that mistake. Sign up for an email service provider that lets you capture people's emails and send them updates when your blog is live. We recommend SendFox. They have a great deal and you can get started for free. Again, the link's in below, so check it out and don't make the same mistake I did. All right, so now that your blog is all ready to go, here's a couple tips that I've learned the hard way on how to keep blogging and stick with it over the long term. Tip number 1 sounds simple, and it is. And it's just this: write a lot. The first couple times you write, they're not going to be great. You can go look at my old blog posts on my site. They're not good. But I learned to write and I kept writing and it made me better over time. I can't tell you how many bloggers I know got excited, set up their blog, and then never did anything with it. If you're going to be a blogger, you need to blog. If you're going to be a writer, you need to write. And so tip number 1, just write. Tip number 2 is create a schedule. This isn't just for your benefit, but for your readers' benefit, so they know when to expect new posts from you. It's also going to help make you a better writer because you're going to have to write to stick to the schedule. This is the number 1 thing that most bloggers don't do, that if they do, they end up sticking with it and actually have success. Tip number 3 is really underrated, but be interesting. Nobody wants to be bored. Whether you're solving people's problems or talking about your adventures. Be interesting and people will follow. Building right off tip number 3 is tip number 4, and that's tell a good story. People love stories. People gravitate towards stories, and people follow people who are living good stories. So if you don't take anything else away from this video, remember this: push your limits, do something impossible, and tell a good story. All right, guys, so that's it for today's video. I've shown you exactly how to set up and start your own blog. If you want to follow along with mine, you can see it at impossiblehq.com. If you want to get started with your own, all the links to everything we've talked about today are in the description down below. Special shout out to Noah and the guys at AppSumo for letting us shoot here today. And as always, guys, keep pushing your limits, do something possible, and I'll see you on the next video.